Hi everyone, Lady Souza here and welcome once more to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for clicking on this video, and if you haven't as yet, feel welcome to click subscribe where you know where it is, where you can get all my updates, all my new videos as they happen. And of course, the number one way to stay in contact with me if you want the latest of everything that's going on is to be part of my newsletter, which goes out to thousands of people every single week when I have information that I want to share, things that's happening, things going on in my mind. So you can subscribe to that on my website. Today, it's been a while since I had a video, I know, and I'll give a reason to that when I do my wrap-up video at the end of April. So at the end of every month, I started to do a looking back to look forward video where I reviewed what I did in the month before and sort of just to reflect before I moved ahead. And I didn't have one for March, and there is a really good reason for that, and I will give it when I do my wrap up for March and April, because you can imagine a lot happened in March because of what is happening in the world today, and that did impact me. It impacted my habits, routines, mindset, energy, everything. I'm human too, just like you. So I had to make some adjustments, and I'll get in all that when I do that video. Today, though, I want to do something very special. Now, I said I was going to do a video on how to work from home, and this is linked. It's linked to that in a way, but I think that today's topic is something that is going to touch people right now, meaning right now, what you're going through right now, not what you were going through 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, what is happening to you right now. And I know this is happening to a lot of people. One, because I have been in the field of productivity and habits for 15 years, and I am a forever student of, having high performance habits and living a high performance lifestyle. So, I've done a lot of study in terms of the science behind it. So I know this is something that a lot of people are going through, so it will be useful. But before we get to that, today I am in a super mood. So if you are watching today when I drop this video, it is the 21st of April, Tuesday, and I'm in a especially good mood because today I got to go out. So in Trinidad, we are in a lockdown. So unless you are going out basically to do shopping, necessity shopping, not clothes because the stores are closed, only essential workers are allowed to go out. And one of my clients is in the energy sector, and they needed some documentation for a project we had done before that is critical to their operations, and I had to go and deliver that. And they are actually based in an incredibly beautiful area called Chagaramas in Trinidad. So I was so glad that I got to go out to drive there just to be, and it's in the nature, it's on the waterfront. So I felt very zen, and I stopped for like 5 seconds just to take some quick pictures so I would remember that. So I'm really psyched that I got to do it. I'm so grateful, just to see the nature, the trees. I mean, I can see that from my home, but of course taking a drive in it is very different. It was also just nice to interact with some people in a different way. So I interact with, of course, clients, colleagues on, my phone. I'm still doing calls, I'm still doing training, all of that coaching, but it was nice. And I'm going to the shops and I'm talking to people, but it was really nice to just interact with people just in a different way. So that was good. Also, some good stuff happening right now is I had my webinars this month. They were super. I had over 100 people register for my webinars, and probably do another video on that. So I did one webinar on building high performance habits and routines, and the other one focused on communication skills, because of course those are the 2 areas that I specialize in. And this month, by the end of April, when I look up, I'm looking at my camera, by the end of April I would have been a guest speaker on 4 other webinars or on the pages of 4 other groups online. So very interesting month right now. But today, it's all about what is happening to a lot of people right now. And right now, I think a lot of people are in a moment of truth. A moment in truth in terms of what were their intentions a couple weeks ago and where they are at now. So, and I'm going to get probably a little science oriented right now. So our brains are wired to survive, not to thrive. Survival is just about making sure the organism that I am has food, can live, has what it needs. And usually once we are in a state of no threats, so our life is not threatened, subconsciously that switch to hunt, that switch to I need to live, it comes off. And for many people, we settle, we rock back, we get comfortable. This is why many of us don't push ourselves for more, because we're probably in a decent state or a good enough state where Steve Jobs said to stay hungry. We ain't hungry no more. We good, right? So 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, depending where you are in the world in terms of your COVID curve, many people were in real survival mode. And what that meant was people had these knee-jerk survival reactions of buying enough toilet paper to last a year, shopping for so much chicken. There was one day I went to the supermarket and I could not get any chicken to cook. So people were like piling, and that's because we were in survival mode. And then people who were still lucky enough to have jobs, they were working in any way they could. Nobody was really thinking about optimizing anything. It was about survival. And that is what was needed at that time, right? Putting one foot in front of the next, making sure you had food to put on the tables for your families. Important stuff, but it was survival mode. Now, when you are in a period where you realize, or your brain realizes before you do, that everything is okay or relatively okay. In other words, I'm not dying. My life is not being threatened per se. My survival is not being threatened. We will naturally start to slow down and go in a moment of comfort and settling, and we will settle in this whatever is that new normal. Let's call it that for now, right? But what happens in there is we're no longer pushing ourselves to do more. And you'll see it happening right now with a lot of people where, and I'll just pick a very easy example. A lot of people were very gung-ho to finally do all the things that they didn't have time before, like exercising, cooking, gardening, and really good intentions, which I'm all for. But what is happening now is that is sort of, it's weathering out. That drive is not there anymore. They're not hungry anymore. They're not in survival mode anymore. And they're going to settle into whatever habits, routines, system suits them best. Now, of course, I know that a lot of people are going to keep up with those new habits, and that's great. Good for them. But there are many people who will not, and who will accept any system of routines and any system of habits right now. This is a moment when you'll either decide that whatever is the new normal for you is okay or good enough, or I could get by on this. Or are you going to push yourself and say, no, I really did want to learn what it takes to be a better leader. I always wanted to do that. I know I'm not doing a good job at it. You know, I really wanted to know what it takes to be someone who can have consistently good habits, good routines. And I'm going to push myself to figure that out during this lockdown phase, or this transition phase, as I call it. And for many people, this is where there's going to be a struggle, because people are now in that 21 days of a new habit period. And I'm not saying I support the science. You know, some people say it takes 21 days. Basically, it takes some time. But in that 21 days, people have reached there or are reaching there. And this is where you have to be very careful that you will fall back. So on one of my recent webinars, one of my participants said something that really struck home. And I think it has to do a lot of what people are going through right now. And she said that for some people, this is a tipping or a slipping point. And we're sort of nodding our hats to Malcolm Gladwell's book on tipping point. But I thought it was an interesting play on words there, because really and truly, I think for some people, this is going to be a moment when they rise to the occasion, when they push themselves, when they stay hungry, when they optimize. And for other people, it will be a moment when they settle. And I'm not necessarily saying that you're settling for something bad, but you are settling. Instead of using this time to do some really deep introspection and then putting a plan in place for how to improve certain skills, how to improve certain habits. And on a recent Instagram post, I spoke that this transition period is really the best moment we have to do some radical honesty with ourselves and to have unwavering authenticity and unwavering individuality. This is a moment when we want to look in the mirror and say, in these two very fundamental areas in my life, in terms of my habits, my routines, my productivity, and in terms of my communication skills, my ability to connect with people, my ability to communicate with confidence and clarity, how am I doing in these two areas? Because these are the two areas that will set you up for success. Honestly, I don't care how great your sales process is. I don't care how good your website looks. If you as a human being cannot, with your own words, in your own style, connect to other people, if you can't sit down and write an email that can engage and positively influence people, if you cannot lead your teams, if you cannot create good rapport, if you cannot create trust in your teams and reduce tension and increase morale, if you can't do these things, that's fundamental in terms of your communication skills. And if you are a person who that you have problems managing procrastination, managing your calendar, managing your time, setting goals, having fulfillment and balance in various areas in your life instead of just one, if this is the moment to look in the mirror and say, I am going to do something about it. This is not the time right now. This is not the time to say, well, I'm getting by. Well, lockdown is so and so, but I'm getting by, we're getting through it. This is not the time. I know that the people who follow me, I know that you want more for yourself. I know that you want to improve. I know that you want to connect with your customers, vendors, team members, and I know that you want to be high performers. So this is a time, especially as you reach that just after the midpoint of your lockdown phase. Now is when you want to dig deep and ask yourself, am I settling or do I want to optimize? Of course, if you need any help with your next steps, you know who to call on. I also have a freebie that I give to anybody who would like. I have a goal setting guide, and you on your own, you can map out in detail what you need to do to set goals to really set you up for success. That's free, so just contact me and I will give it to you. I'm doing actually tomorrow, I'm completing a little mastermind that we had around the goal setting guide, and it's just one of the first steps in terms of being a better goal getter and for somebody who wants to have good routine. So if you would like my goal setting guide, just ask and I will send that to you. Okay, everyone, I really hope that you are having a fantastic week. And yes, you should check in, what day is it? I hope you're having a fantastic week wherever in the world you are. I am here in Trinidad and Tobago, but serving human beings all over this wonderful world that we are in. And once again, are you going to settle or are you going to optimize?